Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another cool pinball repair video for you. We have been working on this Target Alpha and thought we would show it off a little bit as we fix it. So basically we've redone the playfield. Still need to mess with the apron a little bit. And we have the back glass out now and are working on it. And we went through everything in the game, cleaned all of the switches and contacts, stepper reels and all that. And so I was just about to fire it up so we could start troubleshooting it. So I figured I would film that because people usually like that part of the video. I wanted to show you a couple interesting things about this game too. If you, we did a live stream where we showed this off a little bit, but this game, it's a Target Alpha, and they have written on the actual edge of the head all of their high scores and everything. So it looks like it started with this piece of tape here. So they put a piece of tape for people to write on, and so on May 28th, 1989, this guy wrote that his high score was 151,870, and then this guy CWP in July 24th of 89 beat him, so he got 165,854. Which is impossible. That the last digit has to be a 0 because the number's fake. So maybe I'm just reading that wrong. But it's impossible for him to have got that score. So anyway, that's how it started. But then people started writing their own scores on the side, and some of them are like scores that aren't even as high. Like this guy got 33,000 and wrote it on the back of the game. This guy got 43,000. This guy claims he got 222. And you can just see all of these different scores that people have written on the back. So we're going to try to clean that up a little bit and get rid of a lot of those and see if we can leave the tape, just because it's kind of a cool thing. Garland is definitely going to disappear. But it is pretty neat the way they did that. Look, there was one from 2005. So the game was still working somewhere in June of 2005, and Slater played it in 1990, and you can see some of the scores. They've got lines through them and everything, so I guess there must have been a lot of fighting about this. This guy says he got, now this is the same guy, okay, so look what it says. 352,040, number 1, CWP. That's the guy that was over here. So he finally got the last lap. And then this one was some kind of July 4th reunion weekend, 2001, people were playing. So we thought that was kind of neat. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you, now keep in mind these people are bragging about their high score. When we got this game, these ball rails weren't here. So when the ball comes down, there's a post that goes here too. It's gone too. We ordered some. When the ball comes down, it hits that post and it goes this way or it goes that way. So you can lose your ball in the out lane. The only other way to lose your ball is through the middle. And as you can see, they've added a center post that wasn't on at factory. So they've added a center post, and then what they had done on the outside was they took the ball guide and bent it. See how this end of the ball guide has a like a little flange and this end doesn't? That's because they took the longer ball guide and bent it and had it installed like that so that the ball couldn't go out the out lane. Can you believe that crap? Come on, people. Come on, people. So we looked around on the parts playfield for a completely different game and found these just the right length and put them back where they went. One there, and of course they had done the same thing over here. So we thought that was pretty neat. But we're getting it back how it's supposed to be. So all those scores are a little bit invalid, if you ask me. Really? I don't think they can brag too much about that. By the way, that laughing you're hearing in the background, that's from a Rolling Thunder arcade game that we have turned on over here. It keeps laughing at us. So I'm going to put this on the tripod, and then I'm going to press the start button. Like I said, we went through, we cleaned everything, we cleaned all the switches, all the stepper units, blah 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 blah. You can see on the score reels that as we clean them, now when these start, all of these are supposed to go back to 0, right? So I set every one of them on 1 as I cleaned them, so that whenever the game starts, all of those are going to have to reset. And that's how we're going to tell if they reset right? So every one of those needs to go around to 0. And like we were saying, the last number is actually fake. The 0 is actually fake. So now look at this again. CWP, tell me if I'm wrong. This is the guy that's bragging that he's so good with the out lanes blocked off. He says that his score was 165,864. Am I reading that right? How is his last number a 4 when it's not a damn real? Something wrong somewhere, people. Something's wrong somewhere. And of course, to get over 100,000, you have to keep track of it, because it rolls over 100,000, and then you just have to, the score could have been 65,000. Anyway, I'll set up the tripod, and we'll start it up and see what's wrong with it. I'll make a list of everything that's wrong with it, and then we'll see if we can figure out how to fix any of it. All right, folks, so I'm going to plug it up, see what that does, and then we're going to hit that start button, see what that does. By the way, I set the credit wheel where it can't ever run out of credit, so it's basically on free play. But I'm sure there will be things broken. All right, so it's got juice. Now let's hit the power switch. We have power. That's good, right? All right, so when I hit start, all of the reels should reset to 0. It should go clack, 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 do all kinds of stuff, and then it should shoot the ball out into the shooter lane, which you won't be able to see. Yeah, there's a ball in there. All right, here we go. Let's see what's wrong. Wait. Nice. Okay, so if you heard that, basically there were 300 point dong dong, and then it did it again, and it sounds like it might have even locked on that last time. So the first thing that we need to see is, why is 100 points stuck on? So the way we're going to tell that is we're going to look on the playfield and see if anything's 100 points. So these are 5,000 a flit, 1,000. The pop bumpers are 100 points. I don't have light bulbs in those, so they may be lit up. The deal is, the pop bumpers, the coils are burnt up on both of them. I ordered some. So probably what we've got going on is that the pop bumper's stuck on that. Since the coils burn up and the plunger can't move, it's stuck on the 100 point thing. So I'll turn this up, and we'll see if that's what seems to be going on. All right, folks, so as you can see, I messed with it a little bit. It's exactly like I thought. The reason that it was stuck is because the R relay was stuck, the B relay was stuck, which is over here, which is the pop bumper relay. This is one of the pop bumpers. If you notice, it's actually burnt up. So I've ordered new coils for it, but because it was burnt up, the switch that it hits was stuck on. Here, if I hit it now, it gives 100 points each time. You can see that the B relay is pulling in as I do it. And the reason that it was locking on is because when this pulls down, it's supposed to open this switch here, which kills the power to the relay, but it wasn't pulling down because it's all heated up. And then unfortunately my other one's the exact same way. But I have ordered those coils, they just haven't came in yet. So I did get it to not have the hundreds stuck on anymore. So I'm going to put it back down and we'll play it a little bit and see what's working and what isn't. Okay, folks, we put it back down, and we're in the middle of a game. So it's basically telling, you know, the ball has been kicked out, so it's basically telling us to hit things. The flippers are working, which is good. You want your flippers to flip. So what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to hit everything and see if everything's working right, except for the pop bumpers, which we know aren't working right. So this should give us 1,000 points, and it did. This should give us 1,000 points. Oh, wait a minute, 500 points, that's right. And I'm also watching my score reels to make sure that they're turning over like they should. So like if it gives 500, if it gives you 500 points like that's doing, you know, right now it's on 6310, and now we're on 6810. So that can actually get really screwed up to where it only gives you 300 for 500 because it's got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and release and click properly. So you have to check all that, and you have to check it on every score reel. So it takes forever on 4 players. So we're going to check over here, 1,000 points. That's working. We're going to check this 500 or 5,000 when lit. So we're at 7810. This should put us to 12,810. And it did, so that's good. We got a little stand up here. Who knows what that does? That does 1,000. That's working good. Okay, 500 points. That worked good. Another stand up. That worked. 500 points. That's working good. 500 points. That's working good. We've got our rollovers way up here. 500. That worked. 500. That worked. And then this one should do 5,000. And that worked. So all of that's good. So now we're down to our drop targets. So it seems like most of the little lit features and stuff all work. We don't know about our special or our extra ball when lit yet, stuff like that. But of course, the main thing of this game is all of the drop targets. So we need to see if they do what they're supposed to do or not. Bonus value 1,000 for each lit spot. So basically, I guess the way this works is, I haven't read the instructions or anything yet, but I guess that these lights will light up whenever you drop a target, and then whenever you get your bonus at the end of the ball, it gives you 1,000 points for each one. So let's see what it scores when you get it. We're at 25,310 right now. See, obviously that's messed up. You see how the drop target didn't go all the way down. So basically we've got some drop targets that are going to stick. We'll see if it's just a couple or if it's like all of them are doing it. All right, so 47,310. 49,310. So it's giving me 2,000 for every target that drops, and then it's lighting up the light as well. 51,320. The reason that I got an extra 10 is because I hit this. All right, and then our last one, we're at 51,340. 53,340. So I'm going to write down that the bottom drop target's tripping a little bit. It scored right, but it didn't fall right. Bottom right drop target. So I'm just going to make a list of everything that I know that's screwed up. Like I'll put my 2 pop bumpers on there. That way I'll know to, whenever I get done, that I've checked every little thing out. Now, if you're playing this in your house, it's not that big of a deal, but we're selling it, you know. So if one little thing's acting up, somebody's going to call us all pissed off. So we're trying to get it where we know everything's right. So we will do our top drop targets now, and we'll see what they do. You'll notice that 2 of them have been replaced in the past. The thing with these is you can order these targets, but if you just replace a couple of them, you can tell they've been replaced. They were already like this whenever we got it. Or you can replace all of them, but you're talking $60, $70 to replace all of these drop targets. So let's see what we got here. All right, 2,000 points, 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 but the light didn't come on. 2,000 points, 2,000 points. So the light also didn't come on. So what are we going to call that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8th and 10th drop target lights. And they might just need twisted like I was doing on the score reels. I've already replaced all those bulbs though. They're new bulbs. It might just need twisted, or it's not making good contact or something, or it might be that I didn't get the switch perfectly clean or something, but we'll look into that. All right, so it looks like most of the drop targets are working fine. It looks like most of the little functions are working fine. This now says special when lit, so we'll see what happens when I hit that. We're at 73,340. So I got my 500 points. I mean 5,000 points. I don't hear a knocker or anything, but maybe I don't see it giving me a free game or anything either. So the special might not be working. But it does say, whoop, excuse me, same player shoots again now, so that could have been the special. I don't know, I didn't notice. So that's that. So the last thing that we're going to do, I'm going to troubleshoot those bulbs here in a second. The last thing I'm going to do is we're going to check points, right? So basically, like I was saying, I have to get each one of these to turn all the way over and then make sure that it makes the next one turn over, but only once and all that. So we're going to do 10 points at a time. See how we're at 40, 50. See how it rolled over to the next one, and only once. So that's working perfect, right? Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with the hundreds. I don't really have a 100, but I've got a 500. So it's 75.62. This should make it 76.12. And then 76.62, 77.12. So you got to go through this, manually just to make sure everything's perfect. And then now we're at our thousands. That doesn't sound good. Well, I don't like the sound of it, but it's working. So let's do it 5,000 at a time. 95. All right, so we have rolled it over, and on this game there's no light to tell you that you're at 100,000 points, but on some games there is. But it appears to me that at least the first player, all of the score reels are working fine. And I'm going to do the same thing for the second player, the third player, the fourth player, just to make sure everything's fine. The other thing we have to check is that the ball and play light is working right. So that's, I don't have the back glass here, but that light there, I don't know if that's saying the first ball, the second ball, third ball, fourth ball, fifth ball. So I'm going to go grab the back glass real quick so we can see what that's indicating. All right, so I looked on the back glass that we're painting, touching up the paint, and that's actually ball 2. So this is ball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's starting on ball 2. This is still the first ball that played, so we'll have to watch that. I'm going to write that on my list. Starts on ball 2. So here's our list so far. The 2 pop bumpers are screwed. We've got parts coming. The bottom right drop target is sticking. The 8th and the 10th drop target lights don't work at the top. The special may or may not work, and it starts on ball 2. So we're going to figure that out. I think what I'll do is I'll just end the ball and see what it does about. So it's counting down my bonus. 1,000 points for every drop target, and it just reset every drop target and kicked the ball back out. We're still on ball 2 because remember I had a same player shoots again lit. So we'll just let the ball roll down. So I don't know what it was counting. It wasn't giving me any points. It was just going through its motions. And now we've moved on to ball 3. And it's set on 3 balls, so this should end the game. So that's obviously a problem. The game doesn't end. Well, there, it gave me my 1,000 points for the end of the thing. So game or ball takes forever to end. So that noise you were hearing in there was the score motor going around and 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 around, and it shouldn't do all that at the end of the game. It should do it once or twice and then figure out what it's trying to do and kick the ball out. So I think we've got a pretty good understanding now of what is wrong with it. We just need to figure out how to fix it, right? So we will systematically work through our little list here. I don't have my schematics in yet, so that might be a big problem. But I've got a schematic set for Royal Flush, which is real similar. It's not the same game, but it was a similar Gottlieb from near there. So the first thing we'll do is one of the easy ones, like that bottom right drop target. We'll see why that sucker's not dropping properly. All right, so here's our drop target assembly that we're talking about. And I've already adjusted all these switches and everything, but this switch, this drop target here on the end is the one in question. And as you can see, when the drop target falls, this little metal thing comes back here and it pushes this switch out. Bam, and makes it contact, and that's how it scores the points, right? If that's bent in too far, you have a problem where when it falls, that thing gets stuck, or it does, there's some drag on it, you know. So basically what I did was I just bent this switch out a little bit so there's a little more play, and I'll drop it. You can see what happens. Watch that switch. Watch the switch right here. You see it touch it real quick? So basically, it's falling all the way now, and it's not getting in such. So the situation that it was doing was something like that, and it was stuck about halfway down, and the switch was connected, and that's why it was going, you know, scoring over and over again. See, like that, right there, it's stuck, and so it would just keep scoring and scoring and scoring. So there's a little bit of, like, you know, gravity helping it, and also this spring here is helping it. But we've adjusted that a little bit, and I think that's helped. So the next one that we're going to do is the 2 light bulbs that weren't working for us at the top. So that is this big, huge bank here. All right, so I have moved you to the other side. I hope you're not too disorientated, but just so you can tell where you're at. There's all of the drop targets. We're looking at the 8th and 10th one on the end. And these stacks of switches here are what connect whenever the drop target goes down, and it makes this light, it makes these lights here turn on. So the game is over, but you can play with this stuff with the game over, but since it's all mechanical, basically if you touch the switch, it makes the light come on. This one doesn't, that one does, and this one doesn't. So what we're going to do is see if it's just something where I just need to spin the bulb. So basically it's the bulb is a little loose, the socket. So I may have to put a little solder on the actual bulb to get it to stick to the platform. See how I can move all of this? I don't know if you can see, but the whole bulb is moving. And that's probably what we got going on over here too. No, that one's not doing anything. Nothing. Come on. So this one I can't get to do anything. That one was stuck on because the wire was stuck in it. That one I need to solder. And this one I could attempt soldering. It's had the wire soldered onto the blade because the little side piece broke off. But so basically we've got two switches here that aren't lighting up their bulb. This one at least is because the bulb's loose. This one, I mean the socket's loose. This one may be the same thing. So we'll I'll take that loose. I'll take that loose and try to get some solder on those bulbs. That'll help it a little bit. All right, folks. So we did a little light bulb work. So you know, you get different types of sockets. This is your traditional type of socket. But the way all of these sockets work is this top piece here touches the outside of the bulb, and that's press fitted onto this bracket. And so the way it gets its signal for the outside of the bulb is from this wire that's soldered to the metal bracket. And then this other wire solders to this little leg here that touches this center ring, which touches the very tip of the bulb. So this is also all this is press fitted together. And the reason it's done like this is because it has to have a little springiness so you can push the bulb in and turn it. So on the sockets, it's pretty easy to just change the whole socket. But on things like this, where it's an entire bar, it's press fit onto this bar, and it's kind of custom for the machine. You could probably get one off another machine, but it'd be just as old. So one way you can make it a little better is if you've got a bulb. What in the world am I hitting? Scared me to death. I hit something. But anyway, if you've got a bulb that's, you saw all of them ruined. If you've got a bulb that's a socket that's spinning really simply because it's not press fit very well anymore, there's a little spacer in there that dries out over the years. You can actually solder it to the metal bracket that it's on. So I did that. And then another thing you can do is, instead of having the wire go to the little tab on the edge, you can just solder it directly to the center thing that moves. And by doing that, you're getting rid of one other connection. So by doing that, we were able to get it going. And the ones up here, these 5, had traditional light bulb sockets, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So I'm gonna put that back in, and then we're gonna lay it down, and we're gonna see if we can figure out why it's starting on ball number 2 instead of ball number 1. All right, so we put it back down, and you can see why it was making all the noise and everything is because some of the drop targets hadn't fallen all the way down. But the reason they hadn't was because I had the playfield upside down, so gravity wasn't helping them. All right, but we'll keep watching that. We'll play it. So I'm gonna turn it on. Well, it is on, but I'm gonna start it up and see if we start on ball 2 like we were doing. Ooh, we started on ball 1. Maybe that was just a fluke last time, or maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. So we'll just plunge a couple balls through and see how it counts. We're still going to figure out why it's doing that. All right, so it moved to ball number 2. All right, ball number 3. This should end the game. All right, so that did end the game. All right, we'll start it one more time, see if we start at ball 1 like we should. All right, so it seems like we're getting where we're supposed to be. It's on ball number 1 again. It seems like we're getting where we need to be, except for how it takes so long between the balls. And let's see if our lights are all right. That one works now. Yeah, all of our lights are working. Okay, well, cool. So we still need to work on the pop bumpers. Let me look at my list. We're waiting on the 2 pop bumper coils. The bottom right drop target, remember how we were having trouble with it? Bam! Fixed that pretty good. The 8th and 10th drop target lights up at the top seem to be fine. The special when lit is lit, but it already says same player shoots again when lit. I looked in the back and the special is set on that you get a free ball. I guess it does that whenever all the drop targets drop. So let's see what we can do. It's going to take forever to end the ball though because of all of those bonuses. I don't know if it's doing all that right or not. Okay, so the same player shoots again when lit is not lit. So we want to try to get this special lit. And then when we do, it says special when lit, but it also says same player shoots again when lit, so I don't know if that's working right or not, but we'll keep messing with that. So that one's still questionable. It starts on ball 2, not anymore, and the ball takes forever to end. So we're kind of to the point where all we have left is we need to keep watching the special, which isn't even that important. We need to mess with the 2 pop bumpers when we get the parts in, and we got to figure out why the ball is taking forever to end each time. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to set up the play field so we can see inside of it, and I'm going to drag it out so we can see behind it. And what we're going to do is when we drop the ball, we're going to see what the hell's going on. Like, why is it making so much noise and clack, 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 clack? What is making that noise? That's probably the score reel turning over and over again, and it's trying to reset something that's not resetting. So at the end of each ball, it probably resets the bonus units, the player units, and stuff like that. So we're gonna see what is clacking on and off, and that's probably where your problem's going to be. So I'll set up the play field, and then we'll check that out. All right, so we've got the play field set up, and we've got it dragged away from the wall a little bit so we can mess with it. So when the ball, goes down the out hole, it hits this switch right here. So you can act like the ball went down the out hole by just hitting that switch. And we'll see what runs and runs and runs. We'll start in the bottom first. The score motor's running. Well, working great now. It's still on ball 1 though, so it must have not scored enough. If you start a game and you don't score enough, sometimes it won't advance. Let's see. It's working fine. This is stepping up and doing some strange stuff. Why is it? Okay, it's not taking us to ball 2 because the ball lands in here and then it hits this on the way out. All right, and that got rid of our same player shoots again, so let's act like the ball's going through again. It hits a couple things. Ooh, maybe it's only when the drop targets are down. So 1 drop target is down. So we'll end the ball. Wait, that's some crap. So when the table is up, it appears to not do anything crazy. So we're playing ball number 2. It's fine. So the reason I'm hitting this one is because the ball's sitting on here. This kicks it. Oh, okay, that's what I was messing up. So once it does that, it would have kicked it out. Hit that. And now we're on ball number 3. Okay, so I have to hold this down like the ball's sitting in it. All right, so let's see if that has anything to do with drop targets. So we're on ball number 3. We'll score some points. All the drop targets are still up. And now the ball drains. Now this will end the game, but we'll see what keeps running. Score motor. Okay, so it kept clicking this bonus score control relay, right? It kept clicking that, and it kept, I thought I saw it clicking the double bonus relay at the end. Since it's the last ball, it was doing a double bonus relay. And then what I was seeing, but it wasn't on the camera, is it kept trying to get this all the way over to here. It was way over here. So it's trying to reset this, and it's taking forever, and that's what's the holdup, apparently. So we'll try it one more time and see if that's right. So we're at the end of the game. We'll hit start. It thinks the ball's in the out hole. It kicks it. Okay, so now it thinks it's in the middle of a game. All right, so see how this reset all the way the other way now? So we'll score some points. Scored some points. End of the game. End of the ball. And then it kicks it. And that puts us on ball number 2. So I need to figure out how. Oh, did you see that? It was hung. So this one steps it up. And when this one pulls in, it resets it. So let's try stepping it all the way up and ending the ball and see if that makes it where it really quickly gets us to the next ball. All right, so we're all the way up. Scored some points. We're on ball number 2. Very strange. All right, so I'm going to try to find some schematics or something and see if I can figure out why in the world it's doing that, or what even that bonus unit does. All right, so I'm figuring out how it works. So here's how the thing works. This is the bonus unit, and that is definitely what's taken so long. So right now it is stepped all the way up because it's the end of the ball and I hit that thing. Whenever the ball kicks back out to start the ball and hits that switch, that way the system knows that the ball's out in the out lane, it will reset this back to 0. Right? And when it does that, it also resets all of the drop targets. Now, the drop targets don't have anything to do with this bonus unit because that's not how it's set up. So if you drop a drop target, so we'll drop this one. It gives you your 2,000 points, and it's now holding this switch closed. So what happens is at the end of each ball, when the ball lands up there, and I figured all this out by looking at the schematics, at the end of the ball, when the ball lands in the out hole, this, through a bunch of switches and relays and stuff, starts stepping up. Pap, pap, pap. And so it shouldn't move at all except at the beginning of the ball and the end of the ball. So it'll do this at the end. Now I already rebuilt the stepper unit, so as you can see, it moves really clean. And it has 14 or 15 positions because there's 15 drop targets. So it's supposed to do that. And so the way that it works is it starts out at the other end. And at the end of the ball, it starts energizing it and stepping it up through it. All right, so at the end of the ball, it steps up really, it's supposed to do it really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And every time that every time it moves, of course, it's on a different set of contacts. And so each set of contacts represents each drop target. So if it's on, the first set of contacts and the switch on the first drop target is connected because it's down, then that connects to the 1,000-point relay and gives you 1,000 points. So whenever it's supposed to reset at the beginning and then step through all 15 of them at the end of a ball and give you 1,000 points for whichever drop target has its switch connected. So it's basically checking all of them. So it's going to go bap, 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 ding, bap, and go through each one of them like that. So my problem is that at the end of the ball, this isn't stepping up as fast as it should. You saw how it's just barely moving. It should be going really fast. So the way that it works is through a bunch of relays on the score motor and also on this G relay that we were talking about here. G, bonus score control relay. So whenever the ball ends, that is supposed to hold in until that thing gets all the way stepped up, but it's not holding in, it's popping back out. So what holds that in is a little switch on that relay, which seems to be fine, and a switch right here on the bonus relay. So I've got to figure out something's misadjusted here, or it's not making good connection through the plug or something. So I'm going to track it down and figure out what it's doing, and then I'll shoot a little video once I get it moving like it's supposed to. All right, folks. So here's the schematics. I found somebody online talking about the same exact problem. So the bonus score control relay G, is what makes the that bonus unit step up. So if you see right here where it says add bonus, it only does that through these motor switches or the K relay if G is closed. So G has to be closed. So if you looked earlier on the video, you could see where G kept opening up and opening up. So my problem was G wasn't staying closed. So you look over here on G and see how is it supposed to stay closed. Well, the ball going in the return switch, you know, whenever we were pressing the switch down, ball going in the out lane right here connects power through the 15th position on the bonus unit, and then this DX relay. All of this was working because when you hit the button, it would make this go, the G relay go in. It just wouldn't hold in. So these always have like a hold circuit, which is this part. So it holds the relay in through a switch on itself. So when the relay goes in, there's a switch on the relay that holds it closed. Power goes through it, but it also runs through this 15th position on the bonus unit. So the reason it does all that is basically the relay is pulled in by the ball return switch. All that was working, right? But it's supposed to stay pulled in by a switch on itself as long as this 15th position bonus unit switch is still closed. So on the game, this damn, I've been working on this for hours. This thing is genius, but it's a pain. So if you've got one and it ain't working, this is definitely your problem. Something on here is definitely your problem. Somebody had taken it apart and adjusted all kinds of crap that didn't need adjusted, and so I had to go and move a bunch of stuff back. But which again, I had already messed with it once, but I just put it back exactly how it was, not knowing that somebody else had already moved a bunch of stuff. Well, on the bottom of this, I'm going to turn the camera upside down so you can get a good view of it. See those switches right there? Now it's hard to see. Maybe I can zoom in. See that little white bar and how it's just touching the switch, and see how the left switch is open, the middle switch is closed, and the right switch is barely open, right? That's how you need it. So it does that on the 15th position. So at the beginning of the ball, it resets all that. So now you're on the 0 position, right? Which I had in the wrong spot because the previous guy had it in the wrong spot. If you look at the schematics very carefully, the 0 position is where the two little legs are touching the yellow wire. See it? The outside one's touching the yellow wire, so it's actually on the second rivet, not the first rivet. And then the inside one is on the yellow and blue wire. So it's a little bright, so it's kind of hard to see, especially with that grease on there. But you see how the outside one is on the second rivet? So that's where you start, right? Now at the end of the ball, like we were seeing on the schematics, the G relay holds in, which makes this start going all the way up, right? Sorry, all the way up. So 15 steps. Now, when it gets to the 15th step, it has to open that switch. Here's the problem. If that switch isn't connected really good, what it'll do is the violence of this thing stepping up, I can't even do it as fast as the computer, as the machine does it. See how it's shaking everything and everything? It makes that switch vibrate. So if the switch loses connection for just a second, it makes the G relay stop, open back up. And so it doesn't close again until the score reel goes back around. So what you end up having is the thing will go and then it'll open the relay, and then it'll sit until the score reel turns, and it'll go tap, 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 and then it'll open the switch again accidentally, and it'll sit till the score turns a little bit more. And so as you were seeing, it might take 30 seconds to get all the way up. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to go like a machine gun. Right? So we're going to test that out. Okay, so I reset it all to ball number 1. We're scored. All right, so when the ball ends, we're going to see that sucker move like it's supposed to move. Bam! That's how it's supposed to go. Now on the third ball, it goes slower because it does a double bonus. All right, so this is the end of the third ball. So watch how it'll be a little slower. And it's supposed to be like that because it's actually counting everything twice. Whenever it's ball 1 or ball, and I'm saying third ball, it could also be the 5th ball if you have it on 5 ball. But on the first 2 balls, you only get 1 bonus for each drop target. So it does it through the K relay, which is that double bonus relay at the end down there. Double bonus relay. The very last one. If that's out, it just connects straight through. But if that's open, it does it through the score motor so that it has the timings just right, so that it'll give you 2,000 points for every drop target that's down. So we'll play it for a second and see if everything seems right. All right, folks, so we'll try a game and see if you should be able to tell by just hearing it, right? So that's the beginning of the game, so that takes a little longer because it has to reset all the score reels, but whenever the ball drains, it should go really quick. Ooh. Alright, we'll let it drain, see what happens. See how long it takes. Come on now. Like a machine gun. All right. Like a machine gun. A little slower the third time around. And there you go. So I think we got it pretty much up and running. Now I've still got to replace the pop bumper things, but I think that's enough of showing you the troubleshooting. So we'll film another video whenever we get it all finished up, so you can see how it plays and all of the artwork and everything, and the back glass, of course, which we got in the back room. Now, if you liked the video, give us a thumbs up for taking all this trouble to film it for you. We didn't have to do that. So give us a thumbs up, leave your comments below, and we will see you on the next video.